up in the morning report, police records its first homicide for the year. The Valley Boys take the win for the New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade, and the former commissioner of police makes the Queen's Honors List.
Hope you got your New Year's resolutions in as we start yet another new year. Good morning and welcome to the morning edition. I'm LaDawn Davis. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Meanwhile, Sieska Adderley is standing by with traffic police to tell us more about what's happening on our streets. Good morning, Sieska.
Good morning. Happy New Year to all of you. It is a new year, but the rules of the road remain the same. And here to remind us of what we should know traffic-wise is Sergeant Crestania Johnson from the Traffic Division. Good morning, Sergeant Johnson. Happy New Year to you, first of all. Good morning.
A pleasant good morning to you. Happy New Year. Pleasant good morning, Bahamas. Happy New Year. It's so good to be here in a brand new year. But going into this new year, we want to reiterate the importance of road safety. And coming out of the Christmas season, we've had one casualty, and even one is too many. There weren't as much accidents involving injury, and I want to say that as it pertains to the vehicles that got damaged during that time, we had an increase in that. There were many vehicles that got extensive damage, and we had some damage to property. We want to increase these statistics going into the new year, so we want to encourage proper road safety behavior. We advise drivers, if you could, as much as possible, have your vehicles repaired, have your vehicles taken to be properly maintained, to obey the rules of the road, especially when you come into traffic control lights. As you can see behind me, please be vigilant and to stop in obedience to the traffic control light, to not be distracted while driving. All of the regular things that we've been putting forth to you during last year's period, we want to reiterate this stuff to you. The importance of speaking to your kids about road safety, all of these things we want to be mindful of.
Now, Sergeant Johnson, remind everyone of the speed limits, because still too many of us are speeding when out on the street.
Remember now, we always say, we have a little cliche, we said, okay, if you're in the inner city, you travel at 25 miles per hour, or you follow the signs that are posted. If you are on the outer skirts, this like in the area of the airport, there are no signs posted at these locations. If there are not signs posted there, it's 30 miles per hour. Remember this speed. We want to drive to arrive alive, and that's what we're going to be preaching for the rest of the year.
Okay, now school may be out, but also remind people of the school zone times and the limit within the school zone.
Well, early in the morning, we tell people, even though there's a set time there, 7:30 in the morning, that's the best time to drive in these areas. It's 15 miles per hour when you're riding in the school zones, and it again starts at 2:30 in the afternoon. Please be vigilant and mindful that our kids are going to be traversing these areas, and one or two schools are in, the private schools, one or two of them are in, so please be mindful of that.
Okay, now, Sergeant Johnson, we are at a busy thoroughfare. Marathon is an issue for you all in terms of maintaining traffic. Let's talk about some of those challenges and the importance of the traffic control lights and stopping at them no matter what time of day you are moving about on the street.
But remember now, this is a major intersection. We have seen, even when traffic control lights are not functional, that we have a lot of problems from this area. So when the traffic light is functional, ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention. We have this area being used for multiple purposes. We have persons who just catching the bus. We have persons who are going to utilize the mall area. We have persons who are just trying to get to work. Whatever your particular reason is for using these intersections, we advise each and every driver to be cautious of this area, to be cautious of every area that has to do with any major commute. We ask you to look both ways. We ask you, even if the light changes, to just be a little hesitant when crossing the light to ensure that the road is clear. And we advise persons who continually do not stop at these lights to please do not do that. We need to encourage a safe environment on the street.
All right, now is overtaking also an issue in this area, Sergeant Johnson?
Well, we find that when persons are hesitant to cross the light, there are impatient people who are behind them. These impatient people, they overtake, and when they overtake, they enter into lanes that they don't ascertain their way clear before entering. These end up causing these fender benders and these simple accidents, bumping the back of the vehicles. We just again, preaching to the members of the public to be patient, to be your brother's keeper.
All right, thank you so much, Sergeant Johnson. It's always a wonderful time chatting with you because you're so knowledgeable on the subject. And so, everyone, it is the second day of 2019. So whether you're heading out on the road as a pedestrian or a motorist, make sure you do so safely so that we can all end this year on a positive note and head into 2020. Back to you in the studio, LaDawn.
Thanks a lot, Sieska. Now on to our top story this morning. New Year's Day came in on a sour note as police record the country's first homicide. A young man was shot just hours after bringing in the new year. Now, according to reports, shortly before 12 noon, New Year's Day, a man was walking with a group on Market Street in the vicinity of C.R. Walker Senior High School when he was approached by a man armed with a firearm who shot him before running off. The injured man was taken to the hospital, listed in serious condition, and then died at 8:50 last night. Police are investigating the matter and also appealing to the public for information on that incident. Now on to more positive news. The 2019 New Year's Day Junkanoo Parade is now history, and the world-famous Valley Boys Junkanoo Group has emerged as the winner. Using the theme, We Give God Thanks and Total Praise, the Valley Boys climbed up the ladder from last week's second-place win to the One Family and secured the #1 spot. In obtaining the overall winner status, the Valley Boys, sponsored by Paradise Games, won the coveted Best Music, Best Choreographed Dancers, and Best Performance prizes. Roots managed to secure the second-place win, with the Saxons coming in at third, One Family fourth, and Genesis bringing up the rear in fifth position. We congratulate the Valley Boys on their win. Please note that these are all unofficial results. The Queen's Honors List is out, and the title of Order of the British Empire, OBE, will be conferred upon former Commissioner of Police Reginald Ferguson for his dedicated commitment to the country's civil service. Mr. Ferguson was born on Acklands Island on May 13, 1946, to Ernest and Ella May Ferguson. During his more than 44 years on the force, he worked in a cross-section of areas. His career highlights include developing the Drug Intelligence Program of the Drug Enforcement Unit in 1988. He also served as aide-de-camp to the Right Honorable Sir Lyndon Pinling, former Prime Minister of the Bahamas. He was noted as the first officer to utilize a tape recorder as evidence in a case to secure a conviction. Also on the Queen's Honors List are Janet Boswick, Monsignor Alfred Culmer, and Reverend Dr. Leon Wallace. Congratulations to all of those receiving honors. In other news this morning, the five-star property called Jack's Bay will feature water sports, a lagoon, and a farm, and comprise 3 subdivisions of residential lots and 52-room lodge. Lots in 2 subdivisions have already been sold, and some buyers expect to begin construction of their homes next month following a partnership with the U.S.-based construction company Cat 5 Building System. But the pride of this novel property will be the 10-hole par 3 golf course designed by Tiger Woods and dubbed the Playgrounds. CEO Jim Goodman says this shorter 10-hole golf course is a phenomenon in the golf community that will attract players. For director Tommy Turnquest, such partnerships complement this vision for a development.
For years, we've been trying to figure out how to get more people into the game and how to take advantage of our biggest obstacle in golf, which is time. People's time, people's free time. So I think the short course is a wonderful alternative.
And we've been very deliberate in not just trying to sell the land to turn over cash, but to make sure that our development is sustainable, it's done in the right way, and that at the end of the day, Bahamians, and more particularly persons in Eleuthera, even more particularly people in South Eleuthera, would be pleased with the end product and will have the economic benefit from it.
Several Haitian nationals were apprehended yesterday at approximately 1 a.m. attempting to make it to shore in waters east of the South Beach pools. Personnel from the Royal Bahamas Defense Force captured the illegal migrants and upon further investigation discovered a wooden sloop in shallow waters about a quarter-mile offshore. An expanded search of the coastal area was conducted and a total of 16 Haitian nationals were apprehended. The total number of migrants that arrived on that sloop is unknown at this time. The Defense Force continues to investigate. And still to come, Happy New Year from Exuma. That story and more when the Morning Edition comes right back. Residents of the Elizabeth Estates Children's Home received donations of gifts, food, and toys for Christmas, courtesy of Santa's helpers, owners of the Sweet Tooth. Teenage sisters Kristen and Kershawn Ferguson opened the pastry business 4 years ago, and for them, a big part of that is giving back at Christmas time.
For some of the gifts, the kids could use it to exercise outside, the food and stuff. You never could run out of food, but you do. And the food will help a whole lot. I am very impressed with that, because starting from 18 and they're thinking of the future and other kids, that means a whole lot. You know, and they're giving from their heart. And I appreciate that very, very much.
The home accommodates 30 children ranging from 12 to 18 years old. Assistant Administrator Andrea Johnson admits it takes a lot to operate the facility and that they do rely heavily on donations, so they're grateful for whatever they receive, no matter how small.
Well, one day I was listening to the news and they said they were, short of food and water, so I decided to donate some food, and the toys we decided to give them because of the kids and because no one really donate to the Elizabeth Estates Home like that, so we decided to give it to them.
I know that Christmas is about Jesus' birth, but at the same time, you want everyone to feel happy and loved, because at the end of the day, you're supporting the people who support you.
And as the new year rolled in, residents over on Exuma celebrated in grand style. Amajal Knowles reports.
On Yalom Exuma, persons brought in the new year in several different ways. Our news team visited several churches on the island during their watch night activities. These include traditional services like the ones at St. Andrew's Anglican Church and the ones at St. John's Baptist Church, and more concert-style ones such as the one held by Ebenezer Union Baptist Church. Well, we spoke with the pastor of St. John's, Donnie Morley, on why services such as these are important.
Give God thanks for being so good to us, for allowing us to see the closing moment of 2018. And then going into the new year 2019. My theme for the New Year's for my people is pressing forward. As Philippians 3 and 13 say, brethren, I count myself not to apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things that are behind me and pressing towards the prize. God is good.
Now, on a more festive note, our news team canvassed the island and popped in at two of the hotter New Year's Eve spots to find out what are the guest plans for 2019. First stop, the Peace and Plenty Hotel.
My resolution is to eat healthier and be fit and love my family.
I wish everybody all the best for this 2019. Bye.
My resolution is to follow God as closely as I can. There's only one God, and I'm trying to follow him the best I can. I don't do a very good job, but I'm going to do my best.
And then we made our way to the world-renowned sandals at Emerald Bay to take in the sights. And amid the exciting John Canoe performance and midnight fireworks display, we asked their guests what were their New Year's resolutions.
I really don't have anything specific. I just want to live my life day by day and just go with the flow and just be happy and have, a wonderful life.
Less time at work, more time with family.
Get better at everything I do. Get my nurse practitioner degree and come back to sandals, hopefully in a year or two.
Certainly some lofty goals these visitors are seeking to attain. For my cameraman Lyndon Smith, I'm Amajal Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Now, Johnny, they look like they had a great time, and I also want to say thank you to Partyland for actually sponsoring our costumes every special holiday that we have here in the morning edition. So what's coming up in sports?
Well, Dawn, we're going back to Exuma for the Bull Red Regatta.
That story and more ahead in sports.
Welcome to sports, everybody. Buddy Hield and the Sacramento Kings opening up 2019 on New Year's Day at home against the Portland Trailblazers. This game would go into overtime with the Kings coming out on the losing end 113-108. Buddy finishing up 11 of 23 from the field and 5 of 8 from behind the arc. 27 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists in 39 minutes. 19 of Buddy's 27 coming in the first half.
Supposed to. Another game that we supposed to close out when we had the lead and we didn't close out. So we got growing pains, man. That's all it is. And just gotta get better, man. We need to watch film. And we do our best. We can push the pace. We can have fun. We can run and gun. And when it comes down to the last possession of the game, we forgot to put the ball in the basket. And, you know, if fans are buts about that, so we gotta make shots when we're supposed to, man. And that's just the game. You know, if you don't make shots when you're supposed to, we made shots, they made shots, and we didn't close out. So hats off to them.
DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns closing out 2018 on New Year's Eve with a 132-109 loss to the defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors. DeAndre 9 of 17 from the field and 7 of 8 at the line. He had a side-high 25 points, also pulling down 10 boards for another double-double in 35 minutes on court. DeAndre and the Suns back on the floor again tonight at home against the Philadelphia 76ers. Buddy and the Kings play again tomorrow. They host the Denver Nuggets. The 2019 sloop sailing calendar is underway. Amajal Knowles tells us who has bragging rights to start off the new year.
Well, after 4 days of sailing in Georgetown, Exuma, the Bull Reg Regatta is in the books. The competition between the sailors was anything but. Dominating from the opening gun was the race's namesake, the Bull Reg, captained by Leslie Buzzy Roll, who completed a clean sweep of the regatta, taking home both the Cameron Williams Memorial Cup race and the Bull Reg Cup race. Finishing in second was the Termite, and in third was the Golden Girl, and rounding out the top 4 spots was the Thunderbird. We caught up with Buzzy after the ceremony.
It's got to feel great. It's got to feel great to start the year off on a great step. You know, I was working hard for the crew for years. You know, and so it's happy to have most of our guys back. You know, we got some young fellas with us. Knox come back with us to strengthen our team. You know, and we got David here. You know, but these young kids now, we got the boat in great shape. So it's all for the best right now.
Now this weekend also saw several impressive performances by some of the younger sailors. Manager of the Exuma Sailing Club, Dallas Knowles, on his students' performance.
We're very proud of how they performed, but if you've been following sloop sailing at all over the last couple of years, you'll know that the Termites tend to perform extremely well. They learn and they pay attention to what's being taught to them, and then they just go out on the water and execute it. The conditions were pretty difficult this weekend, a lot of wind, a lot of waves, but they were all excited to be out there, and they all wanted to take their turns. And in the end, you know, we're pretty happy with the second place. Buzzy is extremely difficult to beat. We have people sailing for the first time at the tiller against Buzzy, who's been sailing for 40, 50 years, so it's pretty difficult to beat him. But for them just to be in the running and be consistent like this, we're very proud of how they've been performing.
Now, as mentioned previously, one of the races was named to honor fallen sailor Cameron Williams, who died tragically last year, and Buzzy making this presentation to Cameron School.
This is the 7th annual Bull Reg Regatta, and this is the 2nd annual Cameron Williams Trophy. But this trophy here, you know, we won this, Bull Reg won this trophy, and I want to donate this trophy to the school that Cameron Williams went for the last time. That's Ellen Coakley. I want to present this trophy to the high school of Ellen Coakley.
For many of the sailors here, their attention now turns to the Farmers Key Regatta that is scheduled to take place in February. For my cameraman Lyndon Smith and myself here in Georgetown, Exuma, I'm Amajal Knowles, ZNS Total Sports.
The 2-day Chavez Young Baseball Camp opens up this morning at the Amera Park in Grand Bahama. It's free and will feature a number of pro baseball players who are in town for the Don't Blink Home Run Derby this weekend, which takes place here in the capital at Montague. The camp closes out tomorrow and runs 9 a.m. to 12 noon, both days. Pro boxer Sherman the Tank Williams not wasting any time getting in the ring in 2019. His first bout is scheduled for later on this month.
I'm currently in training. I've been in training. Was in Copenhagen and Denmark for many months in the last year. You know, not just training and doing other things, but, you know, promoting the Bahamas and going from Denmark to Sweden to Norway. And I'm happy for this break to be home, but I'm still training. I'm preparing for a fight in Colombia on January 18. And I'll be fighting somewhat a journeyman, but it's a tone-up fight. I think it's a good way to start the year. Santander Salgado. He's 29 and 8th. He's a clever fighter, but I think I should be able to take care of him in his own backyard.
The college football bowl season is winding down. On New Year's Eve, senior offensive lineman Chris Ferguson and the Cincinnati Bearcats on the gridiron against the Virginia Tech Hokies in the Military Bowl. This one going down to the wire, with Ferguson closing out his collegiate career with a 35-31 victory. And that is a look at sports in the morning edition. Don't go anywhere. There's more to come after the break.
Well, we're taking a look at our final look at weather for this morning, the second day of the new year. We have just a few clouds outside of our studios, temperatures 73 degrees, relative humidity 81%, easterly winds at 8 miles per hour, barometric pressure 1,020.4 millibars, that's 30.07 inches, and it is steady. Your temperatures around the islands this morning, 76 in Grand Turtle Key, 77 in Freeport, also Marsh Harbor at 77, taking you into the Berry Islands, picking up 76 there, 75 in Bimini, 76 in Harbor Island, also Rock Sound, Eleuthera, Artisan, Cat Island, 76, and that extends right into Staniel Key, Camp Space on Andros, also Fresh Creek in Central Andros. In San Salvador and Rum Key Moore, 76, and in Clarence Sound, things start to warm up a bit, 78 degrees. Also Crooked Island at 78, Betsy Bay 77, 77 in Acklands, Ragged Island 78, 78 in Matchetown and Niagara, Turks and Caicos Islands also at 78 degrees. And your boating forecast for today, southeast winds 12 to 18 knots, those wave heights 3 to 6 feet, low tide 11:27 this morning, high tide at 5:13 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands, a more easterly flow at 15 to 20 knots, and that means boaters in the central and southeastern islands, we're asking you to exercise caution. Those wave heights 4 to 7 feet over the ocean. And your satellite picture showing high pressure remains in control of our weather, and that will maintain some moderate breezes throughout the day. The forecast for today, partly sunny, a bit breezy, 82 degrees for your high temperature. And tonight we're looking at partly cloudy with a passing shower in place, but somewhat on the mild side, your low temperature getting down to 72 degrees. The extended weather forecast over the next 7 days, warmer weather right over the next few days, but on Saturday night, we expect a front to go through the area that will bring a nice little cool down, which will take place on Sunday. See those temperatures dropping below the 80-degree mark on Sunday. Nighttime temperatures in the 60s. LaDawn?
Thanks a lot, Basil. And that does it for the morning edition. Thanks for waking up with us. Make sure to join us here this evening at 6 o'clock for our 2-hour newscast. I'm LaDawn Davis. Happy New Year, everyone.